Hello, everybody. I am live. Join me, join me. I'm going to let y'all get in here and I will share on my platform. Hello. Hello, hello, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. Trying to do multiple things at the same time. But hop on here. Let me know that you are here and that you can hear me. Hey, hey, y'all. Let me share. From my other page. When you hop on, let me know that you are here, who you are, so I can greet you and say, hey, boo, hey. Hey, y'all. Give it a couple more minutes. And then I am going to jump into why I'm on here. I'm not going to be on here long. I just want to share kind of my heart and yeah, and go from there. For Joshua's camp, if you are someone who is an intercessory leader, if you are someone who has a team that you lead and serve at your local church, or you serve an intercessory group or team outside of church, like a what they consider a para ministry, I want you to hop on so I can talk to you about what that how I can assist you in mentorship and growing in leadership. So let's go get a few more people on here. Y'all share, please. Say hello as you come on. I know it's Saturday morning, probably considered to be early. So y'all go ahead and hop on. I'm going to give one more minute and then I'm going to just jump into it and you can watch the replay. So if you catch the replay, you can scroll probably about 4 minutes into this and we'll get to the meat of it. Hey, I see you hopping on. Say hey so I can greet you. Hey now, hey. Hey, hey, hey. And I'm going to go live on my Instagram because I'm never live on here. All right, it's 10:15. I don't want to hold you. You can watch the replay if you missed this. But I want to talk about Joshua's camp and what that is, why I am launching it, what the process, hey Tennille, what that process is going to look like. and answer any questions anybody has if you decide to hop on. So, what is Joshua's Camp? Hello, Yvonne. Joshua's Camp is a mentorship for intercessory leaders. Okay. When I think about Joshua, the story of Joshua, his leadership under Moses, got something on my eye. His leadership under Moses, even after Moses, it could really be, it could really go into all leadership. Really, it could be even go into sonship and things like that. But intercession is my niche, if you will. Hey, Kat, thank you for hopping on. Y'all, please share. It can go into all the things, right? There's so many layers and nuances to Joshua, to the relationship with Moses and Joshua, and all those things. Just as much of the scripture is not just one dimensional, okay? But one of the things that I love about Joshua was how he served Moses and the children of Israel while he was with Moses. And Moses really, and the children of Israel, symbolize a lot. They symbolize like even the first type of church, if you will. And Joshua's role as Moses's like almost second hand, his son, his mentee, if you will. He was responsible for not only helping lead people, but he was responsible for winning many wars for Israel. He was responsible for being an intercessor to Moses and reminding him of God's promise to the children of Israel, reminding him, Moses, of what God had charged him to do, right? We see that, I think, in Exodus, where Moses is coming down, is hearing a bunch of noise coming down while he's up on Mount Sinai getting the 10 commandments, and Joshua is at the bottom of the mountain and it's like, listen, there's a lot of stuff going on, might want to check that out, right? He's able to watch and to see what the leaders cannot see, because the leaders are trying to receive impartation and information and revelation for the body, and Joshua is there watching Moses and the people. Okay? Joshua has his ear to the people, and he also has his ear and his eyes on his leader. Not only that, but we see where Joshua is praying concerning Moses and concerning the children of Israel, right? He is in charge of the armies, and I believe that is not just natural. We know that he won natural wars, but that is also spiritual and symbolic for us. Okay, that he had to be very aware, very strategic, very strong in his leadership, very confident in his leadership. He had to lead by example. Joshua was also one of the ones that went out into Canaan and came back with a good report. Joshua's are responsible for being able to see what is ahead. Even in the midst of chaos and potential issues, they can still see that this is still something worth pursuing. While the others outside of Caleb, like, no, we can't handle that. Joshua was like, we got this. We can actually, good morning, Tiffany. We can overtake these giants that are in the land that God promised us. This is so much like the leaders, the intercessory leaders in our churches. I believe that this is a great model. This is a great model for what intercessory leaders should look like. Okay. And so that's why I wanted to create Joshua's Camp, because it even reflects my own journey with being a leader and being an intercessor. When I started, first of all, I've been, intercession has been part of my life since I was a kid, right? But I did not come into leadership until 2019. I started when I joined Liberate Church. In 2018, I came in just wanting to love the Lord, and I had no idea. I was not trying to. I knew that I wanted to be a part of the prayer team, but I did not have any thought or idea of leading a prayer team. Okay, and so in 2018, I joined Liberate Church, totally changed my life, revolutionized my life, and so in 2019, I began co-leading with Pastor Betty, who is, I call her my Auntie Betty. And we co-led together and we worked that thing together. And I learned so much. And I grew so much. And so even during that time, Apostle and Prophetess would come in and they would teach with us. We would share the teaching load and the training. And while they are training, I'm learning at the same time, right? I am making sure that I am exemplifying and walking out their expectation and their example of a leader. Okay. And so as we are progressing, God is moving, he's growing me, he's maturing me. And I believe it was 2020 or 2019. So we're like 3 or 4 years in. I was asked then to take over Frontline because Pastor Betty was growing into her assignment. And so I began to take on Frontline by myself. And it was something that I was like really shocked and not like, and it was like, oh my goodness, I am leading a team. And what's so crazy is when I started into leadership, the onset of me joining Liberate Church and then eventually getting into leadership, one of the first conversations that I had with Prophetess Ree, I told her my biggest fear is being a leader. I was scared to be a leader. I had led and managed people in corporate, if you will, in Mac. When I worked at the Mac counter, I managed and I was successful in it. I had great teams. I had some not so great teams. I had to deal with a lot of issues and conflicts and all of that. I had to teach people. I had to train people. But there was just something different about being in ministry leadership. I was so unfamiliar with it. And so I really had to watch my leaders. I had to watch, and I believe that's what Joshua did. Joshua had to watch Moses. Joshua had to model what Moses was doing so that he could be the leader that he needed to be, so he could have the same heart and the same passion that Moses did for the children of Israel. He had to watch Moses while he was growing into his leadership. Okay, and so I end up doing that, and then 2019, 2020, I take over. And let me tell you something. It has been one of the most rewarding, one of the most stretching, one of the most powerful things I have ever have had to do in my life. Okay, it is so. I am so honored to be able to lead Frontline. But guess what? I had to take my own growth into my hands. I had to make sure that I was developing. I had to make sure that I was actually demonstrating what I wanted to implement. I had to have order and structure. I had to be able to have knowledge of scripture, not just on the surface level, but I had to have deep knowledge of revelation. Okay. And so as the years have progressed, God has really just grown and blossomed Frontline. And just last year, the Lord began to speak to me about pouring into other leaders, helping other leaders. I have, like I said, I've been in church for a long time. And I have seen many of things, okay, when it comes to intercessors, when it comes to altar ministry, when it comes to being prepared and being watchful and just knowing how to facilitate when things are happening in the spirit on Sunday morning encounters. And so I've seen and observed a lot, and I really feel like this is an area that could use some strength in the body of Christ. But we have to develop the leaders so that the leaders can be able to develop the team. Okay. And so for those of you who are in intercessory leadership, maybe some of you have just been asked to be over the prayer team and you're like, I don't know the first thing of what to do. What does that look like? One of the things that we are going to do, and I'm going to talk about the process of Joshua's Camp in a second. One of the things that we are going to do is that we are going to assess. We are going to assess where you are and what you need first as a leader, right? Because we can't talk about what the team needs before we talk about what you need. Because again, everything has to start with you. You have to demonstrate what it is that you are wanting them to implement. Okay, if you want them to be to go deeper in prayer, you got to go deeper in prayer. If you want them to go deeper in their study and devotion in the word, you got to go deeper in their study in the word. If you want them to mature in their life and be committed to God, you got to mature in your life and be even more committed to God. It starts with the leader, right? And so that's one of the things that we will discuss and go over. Another thing that is really important as intercessory leaders is that you and the leader of the house have to have the same heart. Okay? You have to have the same heart and mind of your leaders. Hi, Ryan. I see you hopping on. You have to have the same mind and heart of your leader. You cannot be a leader, especially an intercessory leader, and your doctrine is antithetical to the house. You cannot be a leader in any capacity and your doctrine does not align with the house. You can't be a leader in any capacity, especially in the things that pertain to spiritual gifts, whether it is intercession, whether it is the prophetic, whether it's deliverance, whether it's miracles and all of that stuff. You cannot be contrary to your leader. And one of the things that I have noticed or realized is that there are many leaders who operate in spiritual gifts. Intercession is a gift of the Spirit. It is part of the wiring, if you will, of the prophetic. It is, I don't want to call it an offshoot because it's not a branch. It is like the nervous system of the prophetic world. The intercession is like the nervous system of the prophetic world, which means through intercession, I am able to see, hear, discern, feel, move, right? Your nervous system is connected to your brain. So if I get a pain in my knee, the nerves in my knee my knee are going to shoot up to my brain and send a signal that there's pain there. But if I am sending different signals, if I'm sending mixed messages, it's going to be problematic. It is going to be problematic. You have got to be in tune with your leader. You have got to be on the same page with your leader. You have to have the same heart as your leader. Intercession is also very important to apostolic movements and houses, which means a lot of times God will give the man or the woman of God a vision. He will give them an assignment to fulfill in the earth. And what our responsibility is to hear the assignment, the vision that the man or the woman has, and then we begin to strategize in the spirit. We begin to pray. We begin to seek God on how to navigate and how to move and maneuver through all the territory and the treacherous plains and all of those things so that we can get the vision accomplished. Intercession is not just about praying. Prayer is a part of intercession, but it's not just about praying. Okay? There are so many moving parts when it comes to intercession. And as a leader, you have to have things in place that are going to help you stay connected and stay on course and in tune with your leader. But then you are also going to have to be able to stay on course and in tune and be able to teach your team. You have to have processes and protocol in place. If you are like, this so-and-so is always doing stuff that she's not supposed to do, and I don't know how to handle that. So-and-so loves to lay hands, and we're not supposed to be laying hands on people. Well, do you have that in your protocol, in your guidelines? Do you have guidelines? Is there structure? Is there something that someone can see that says these are the expectations so that they can be held accountable and everybody can be held accountable? Do you have that in place? Are you able to teach about the assignment of intercession in a way that is transformative and revelatory so that your people can go deeper in intercession? Do you know how to resolve conflict? Because with any team, there's going to be conflict. And I remember when I first started, and I was like, whoo! I don't know what to do, right? I had to, first of all, I had to get rid of this people-pleasing mindset. I was a people pleaser. And it was very hard for me to see things that were not necessarily in line with the house and not bring attention or correction. I've been delivered now. But you got to figure out how to resolve conflict, right? All of these things matter as a leader, and especially in the space of intercession. And so these are the things that I want to be able to pour into you and teach you. And in addition to that, how do you manage your life and being a leader of an intercessory team? Because how many of you know that, listen, you are going to live out your assignment before you are able to teach it. You have to live out your assignment before you can teach it. That's part of the intercessor's responsibility, if you will. God will walk us through certain things, through certain trials, through certain issues. And then we are able to teach from that place of revelation because we walked through some things. I had to, before I could really teach and impart into my team, I had to walk through some things because head knowledge does not transform. Impartation does. And you cannot impart what you don't have. I can give you information because I have head knowledge. But I believe it was Peter that says, such as I have, give I thee. Not such as I know. He's like, what I possess, I can give you. I can share what I know, but it might not be transformative. But when I walk through something, I have learned how to use the things that I'm telling other people to use. I have a new level of strength. Okay? And so these are the things that we will be talking about, and I will be sharing with you in Joshua's camp. So it's not just about ministry part, but I want to walk with you through life, because life be life, and unfortunately as leaders, you gotta experience life and still lead. How do you do that? How do you navigate those murky waters while you are leading people? How do you grow and develop people while you are going through yourself? You have to have your own strategy of endurance. And so I really want to be able to share that with you and be able to pour into you in that way. Now, there is another, I really talked about those who are leading ministries within the church, but there might be some of you who are intercessory leaders, and you have a ministry that is outside of your church, and you really are committed to interceding for your communities, for your city, for maybe you have an organization where you are an intercessor and you focus on outreach. But you have it in place again, but you still need mentorship in the area of developing people, teaching people, getting protocol implementation, right? Building curriculum, teaching them why we do what we do. And so those of you who even have intercessory ministries outside of your church, this is going to be something for you as well. All right. Now, what does the process look like? If you go to my website now, you will see, when you go to the Joshua's tab, you will see kind of an explanation of what Joshua's camp is, the story behind it, the inspiration behind it, if you will. And then there's going to be a little application, a little tell me about yourself. Okay. And so what that is really for is, I do not want to just take anybody. Okay. I want to pour into people who are ready to be poured into, because it makes it so much easier for there to be a flow happen. If I have to pull and push and all of that, it makes it very difficult. And I want us both to get the best out of the time that we spend together, right? And the truth of the matter is, mentorship is a relationship. At least it should be, right? There has to be some kind of camaraderie and some kind of like cohesiveness, right? We got personalities should be in aligned. Our spirit should be in aligned, right? And so it just allows me to kind of get to know you, get to know a little bit about your history, a little bit about the church that you serve or the ministry that you serve in, and really help me gauge if this is the best fit. Because right now, I'm not taking mentees who are just trying to, who are just curious or they're wanting to learn about intercession. Okay. If you are just wanting to learn in intercession or you are wanting to grow as an intercessor, that's not what this particular mentorship is for. I do have a mentorship called PAGA, a place for intercessors. And right now it is on Facebook group. It's a Facebook group that you can go into for free. You can join our community. And I share, I will be sharing in there. We do, I just did a seek session. I'll go in there at least twice a month to do teachings. And so if you desire to grow in that way, I would say join PAGA. It's free. You can go in there and receive a mentorship that way. This Joshua's Camp is specifically for those who are currently leading. Those who are currently leading. You have a team, and it doesn't matter if you got a team of 3 or a team of 20, okay? But you are in a leader, have a leader capacity. All right. And so you're going to go through that application. Applications are going to run all the way through February. So I am accepting applications all the way through February. All right. Once February ends, towards the end of February, I will then go through the applications and we'll set up like a Zoom call just for us to touch base, to really talk, to see what even more needs are discovered, more information is discovered, to see if this is a good fit. Once you decide, okay, this is something that I really am interested in, I think that this is a good fit, I want to move forward. Okay, once you figure that out, then you will get, and we are on the same page, you will get an acceptance letter or an acceptance email, and there's going to be a link to my app. Your girl is creating apps, okay, in 2024. You'll get a link to my app, which would allow you to choose your subscription. It's going to be 2 options. You're going to have a 3-month or a 6-month option, okay? You have to commit to at least 3 months. You have to be able to commit to at least 3 months. And there's no mentorship that you are going to be able to see results in 30 days. All right? You have to be willing to make that commitment. Okay? And so once you choose your 3 to 6 month or 6 month mentorship, we will then begin our intake process and we kind of do an assessment for your ministry. Okay. Let me make sure I am still. Can y'all still hear me and see me? Because I'm getting messages and things of that nature. Can y'all see and hear me okay? Let me know. Let me know. Are we there? Yes, Yvonne can hear me. Okay, what about you, Facebook? Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll do an intake. We will do an intake, and then we will kind of process and see where we need to start, how we need to start. Okay, you'll have access to a private group that will be just for those who I am mentoring. And there you're going to have assignments are going to be loaded there. There's going to be checklists that are going to be loaded there. You are going to get get videos of me in there doing teachings, and also just words of encouragement. You will also be able to book your one-on-ones with me. You will get monthly one-on-ones so that we can check in, so that we can move the needle in the thing that you are trying to accomplish during your time with me. And it's also a place that you can kind of communicate with with other mentees. You can build relationships and build community with other people. Hey, what are some things that you are doing in your church that works well for you? What are some things that here's some things that I do that work well for my ministry? Maybe you can implement, and things of that nature. So you're going to be able to communicate with one another, and then outside of that, you will be able to book. Have already said that you'll be able to book. Outside of that, once we do our 3 to 6 months, you can decide, hey, I want to add 3 more months. You can do that. You say, hey, I want to add 3 more months to the mentorship program because I really feel like I am benefiting from this, and I want to continue and growing. You can absolutely do that. All right. And that is the process of Joshua's camp. Are there any questions? Any questions? I think I saw one earlier. Tiffany said, when I first got here at Liberate Church, did you know you were a prophet and an intercessor? I've always known that I was an intercessor. I've been an intercessor from since Skip was a pup. I've been an intercessor. I did not believe that I was a prophet. I knew that I was prophetic, but I was not a prophet. I was not calling or considering. And here's the thing. Here's what I feel about that. And this is just kind of my thoughts. I feel like there are a lot of people who are mislabeled as prophets because of this new, like sensationalism we have behind it within the last, I would say, 10 or 15 years. I grew up in prophetic ministry, again, since I was a child. Like, my mom is very prophetic. My mom is also an intercessor. She had prophetic friends. I grew up in prophetic ministry. I don't know ministry without the prophetic. I mean, I've heard of it. I just have never, I've always been a part of prophetic ministry. And from my memory, no one ever was walking around like, I'm a prophet. I'm a prophet and I know it. I'm a self-appointed prophet. That's a new thing. Like, we were okay with just walking and out our assignment as intercessors and prophetic people. Like, I was a part of prophetic companies. Like, we traveled together, and we never were like, calling each other prophets. And so I didn't that was not a thing for me. That was not a thing for me. And I think that we have a lot of people who, because they are intercessors, and that's a whole other conversation, because intercession is a part of that nervous system of the prophetic. I think we have a lot of intercessors who are mislabeling and misidentified as prophets. Because I can see and hear, I must be a prophet. And that is not the only measuring stick, if you will, for being a prophet. There's so much more. And I know I gave you the long version of that answer, but I really want those who hear that those who hear me hear that. Intercession is innately prophetic. And so if you are an intercessor and you don't necessarily walk in a place of intercession, a level of prophetic, it might just mean you need to grow in it, or that grace is not as strong. Any other questions? Watching from Kenya, East Africa. Well, hello. On Instagram, Vanetta said, I would love to have a conversation with you. I was told I was prophetic since I was a child, and I truly feel like I was mislabeled. I do have dreams, but I don't think I matched the title. You know what? Prophetic is not necessarily a bad thing, right? And yes, you can definitely have a conversation with me. But since we're on this topic, being labeled or considered prophetic is not a bad thing, y'all. And it should not be an uncommon thing. I think because we don't see it commonly, it's usually like in charismatic churches, it seems like this extra thing, right? It's like an add-on to our spiritual journey. But the prophetic or the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. So if the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ, then yeah, if I have Christ in me, I should be able to have a level of revelation. I should be able to have a level of access to things that have not come yet. Good morning, Pasha. But that is for every believer, right? And so there are going to be, you can have, when you are in the presence of God, the spirit of prophecy could come upon you. And then there are those of you who have a heightened measure or a gift, and you have the gift of prophecy. Which means is if someone, you don't need to be in a certain environment for you to prophesy. It's just a gift. Sometimes it happens and you don't even know. And so I don't want to go into a whole prophetic teaching on here, but prophecy is just you exhorting, comforting, right? And edifying. If you are an incredible exhorter, That might be a grace or a gift of the prophetic. Okay? So it doesn't have to automatically mean that you need to be in a fivefold office. You just might have a greater measure because it's needed for your calling or for your assignment. All right? But yes, Vanetta, you can DM me, or you can totally do that, or you can go to my website, shoot me a message. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to hop on here. Hop off of here. Yeah, Pasha, it shouldn't be uncommon. The prophetic should not be uncommon. And it should not be a thing that Paul said, covet to prophesy. Why? Because we build the body up. He's basically saying, covet to edify, exhort, and comfort the body. Don't covet to be a prophet, because that's a completely different assignment. Covet to exhort, edify, and comfort one another. Okay? Yes, so Joshua's camp, Pasha asks, is Joshua's camp just for leaders of intercession teams? Yes, if you are a leader of a team within your local church, or you have a mentor, a ministry, that's what I'm trying to say, sorry y'all, a ministry that is not necessarily connected to what they call paraministry, that is more serving your community. You are intercessors. Like, I know that there's a ministry that she has a team of intercessors and they focus on outreach, right? But they are intercessors and they have a team and she leads them. Okay? You can do that. You host prayer walks. You do community prayer. You are doing outreach ministry. You go into different maybe homeless shelters or prisons, and you go and you pray, and you have a team and you lead them. You still need to be able to teach, have protocol. You still need to be able to have deeper revelation of scripture. You still need to be able to overcome conflict. You still need to be able to demonstrate what you are wanting to implement. You still need those things. And so Joshua's camp is for those as well. And like I said, if you are someone who's like, man, I'm not a leader, but I'm an intercessor and I desire to grow, go join my Facebook group. And at some point, once I am done with the intake of Joshua's camp, if there are some of you who's like, I just have a question, or I just need guidance, or I will have my schedule open to where I can take some one-on-ones here and there. For those of you who just like, I just need just a little. I don't need the whole program, but I do want to just see if I could just, talk to you. All right. So this is what I want you to do. If you find yourself, you're like, man, I'm not an intercessor. I'm not a leader, but I serve on a team. And I know that this could be beneficial. Share it with your team leader. Share it with your team leader, okay? And let them know that this is something that is available for them. Another thing that I didn't mention, and then I'm going to hop off of here. Another thing that I didn't mention is that if you are a intercessory leader at a church, you have to get the okay from your pastor. All right. You have to get the okay from your pastor. Why? Because I am a strong believer that you should not be trying to introduce or implement something that does not align with the house. And there are a lot of mentorships, there are a lot of programs that are out there that might be great, but may not be great for your house. Even what we do at Liberate Church might not be conducive for your house. It may not be beneficial to what you are building. Every house is different. And so you can't copy and paste. And that's why it's so important for you to be in tune with your pastor. You need to know the vision of your house. And like I said, this is for all leadership, but I'm just specifically talking to the intercessory leaders. Because you take the vision, you take the mission, and your job is to war and strategy in the supernatural. Okay? But I do not, and I stand on that, I do not endorse you getting training at this level. If you're reading a book or things like that, that's one thing. But when you are literally trying to create a structure around what you are being taught and your leader is not privy to it, that's dangerous. That is very dangerous. So Brittany, so you need to get information. You need to get an okay from your pastor. There's going to be even a point where you are going to have to sit down, one of your assignments, you're going to have to sit down with your leader and say, hey, what is the mission and what is the vision for this team? What do you want to see happen? What are some things that you want me to implement to make it happen? And how much room do I have to insert my own ideas in? Like, I believe in order. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I believe in order, and I believe in submission. I believe in order and submission. So you will have to get a just an okay, thumbs up from your leaders. All right, y'all. I've been on here almost an hour. If there are no more questions, y'all make sure that you go and share this broadcast. Tag somebody that might benefit from this. I appreciate you all. I'm going to try and go live at least once a week just to kind of talk about some things that pertain to leadership and intercession, some things that I have learned, some things that maybe we're doing that might be helpful for you all, because it is really a passion of mine, and I want to see the kingdom advance. All right. Y'all can always hit me up. You can go to my website, brandyhicks.com, subscribe there, submit if you submit an application and we say, oh, you know what? Joshua Camp is maybe not the right fit for you or for right now for what you're doing. We can still have a conversation about what some other options are. Okay. My heart is to serve the people. So I'm not going to just be like, go on about your day, right? I'm doing this because I want to be able to focus my time and be intentional with my time. But I'm not, this is not a money grab for me. This is ministry. This is ministry for me. And so my heart is to help people. All right. And so I'll be sharing more details as the weeks progress. I love y'all. Have an amazing Saturday, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.